Hello there. My name is Jason Perkins, and I want to welcome you to another episode in my Georgia Workers' Compensation video series. I'm an attorney who specializes in handling Georgia workers' compensation cases. I created this series of videos because I want to provide people who have been hurt at work with helpful information about Georgia's workers' compensation law and the benefits they should receive under that law. Today, I want to talk to you about workers' compensation rotator cuff injuries. So first of all, what is a rotator cuff injury? Well, it's an injury to a part of your shoulder. It's often diagnosed by visiting a doctor or getting an MRI done. Now, common causes of rotator cuff injuries include heavy lifting, working over your head where you've got some pressure on your shoulder, car wrecks, slip and falls, or heavy pushing or pulling using your arms. Now, when you suffer a rotator cuff injury, one of the questions is it covered under workers' compensation? So yes, rotator cuff injuries are generally covered if they happen on your job. Now, a question can come up about whether the rotator cuff injury is work-related or not. The workers' compensation insurance company may try to argue that the injury to rotator cuff was the result of a pre-existing condition, something that was there before you did whatever you did at work. Or even if it did happen at work, they may try to argue that you weren't on the clock or that it's excluded under the workers' compensation law coverage for some reason, like if you tested positive for drug or alcohol or you were engaged in willful misconduct at the time of your injury. Those are some common workers' compensation defenses that might be asserted by an insurance company. But generally, if you're doing your job and you suffer an injury to your rotator cuff, it should be covered under workers' compensation. Now let's talk about what benefits you should receive from workers' compensation if the injury is covered. There's three basic types of workers' compensation benefits that should be paid. One is medical treatment for your injury with certain authorized doctors. That medical treatment is often going to include visits to the doctor. You may need to go get treated in an emergency room at the beginning of your claim and then follow up with a doctor afterward. It often includes physical therapy or medications the doctor recommends. The doctor may order testing like x-rays or MRIs to determine what damage there is in your shoulder or your arm. And depending on the severity of what shows up there, the doctor may recommend surgery on your shoulder or your arm to treat the injury. Those are common medical treatments that could occur. Another benefit provided is wage loss benefits. So workers' comp pays you a weekly check if your injury causes you to miss work, or if you're working light duty and the light duty job is paying you less than the job you made at the time it worked at the time you got hurt. The third type of benefit that's often paid is something called permanent partial disability benefits. Many people with rotator cuff injuries, whether they require surgery or not, end up with a permanent impairment, some permanent limitations as a result of their injury. So their shoulder or arm's just not as good as it was before. If they have this permanent impairment, the doctor may give them something called a permanent partial disability rating, which entitles them to some benefits from workers' compensation. Hope you found this information about rotator cuff injuries and their workers' compensation helpful. If you have, please let me know that. One of the best ways you can do that is by liking this video or giving it a thumbs up. If you've got other questions about rotator cuff injuries or any part of Georgia workers' compensation law, I'd be happy to talk with you about those. There's two easy ways you can set up a free consultation with me to get answers to those questions. The first is by calling the phone number on the bottom of the screen, and the other is by reaching out to us through our website, which is www.perkinslawtalk.com. Click on and submit the free consultation request form. A member of our workers' compensation team will reach out to you and get that consultation scheduled. I'd like to thank you again for watching this video today, and I will wish you the best of luck as you recover from your injuries.